Hi, everyone. Welcome to Amanda's Booktopia. If you're new here, welcome. And if not, welcome back. And today I'm going to do a quick wrap up of my first week of reading for the month of July. And I'm going to kind of do this throughout the whole month of July. Each week I'll do like the reading update of what I read from during the week before. So that is what I am planning on doing. So we're going to go over the first 3 books I read in July during last week. As of right now, we are in week 2. So week 2 video will probably be posted sometime next week. So stay tuned for that. So I'm going to go through the books that I have read so far. And so the first one we've got is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. For those that don't know, Mira Grant is also Shauna Maguire with a different name. I didn't read a Shauna Maguire before with the first of the Wayward Children series, Every Heart a Doorway. And that one was mostly enjoyable. But this one, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about this book necessarily. But it was kind of hard for me to get into because there's a lot of science. And as much as I enjoyed school growing up, science was my least favorite subject. Even though I did super well in the subject, I hated that class. And this one just had way too much science for me. However, it had a very decent plot. I was interested because I love horror movies with found footage aspects. And this is like an underwater horror with found footage. So that's what drew me to this book initially. And it's way out of my comfort zone because of all the science that is in it. So it was a little hard for me to separate the two. But overall, it had a decent story. And the ending was very hard to understand. So I felt like the main character, what she decided was the right answer. I don't know how she came to that conclusion, or what, or how, or why. I know none of it. It was just, the ending was very confusing, and it left a lot to be desired. There were some points that were tiny bit, it wasn't scary to me by any means, but there was very tense moments and stuff that happened. But it was just overwhelming with science, and that's why I didn't love it. So for me, this was a 3-star. It was interesting with the horror aspect. It didn't scare me, and well, it just wasn't a favorite. And it was interesting. Just the science overtook this book. And that's why I didn't rate this any higher than a 3. However, if they were to detract from the science some, maybe it'd be easier for me to get into. It just wasn't a favorite. But I didn't hate it. I guess it's just that balance of finding the right balance of science and the horror. It wasn't the right balance for me. And that's why this is a 3-star. And then the next book I read after Into the Drowning Deep is All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda. This is my first book that I've read of hers. And she's a very interesting author. And the way the story was told backwards in time. And it was a very interesting aspect. And I did enjoy the plot overall. However, I didn't love it. It was very middle of the road for me. I kind of figured out some of the end stuff a little bit early on. Not all of it. I mean, it was very enjoyable the way it led up to it, but there were times I was kind of bored. Like the beginning. The beginning kind of dragged for me. It picked up a little bit in the middle and towards the end. It got a little bit better. And there were things I wasn't expecting. But there were other things that I predicted that came true. And it wasn't great by any means. I mean, it was okay. So it's another solid 3 stars. However, I do want to try other books from her. See if maybe it was just this one book. Because I do have Daughter of Mine by this author as well that I do want to try. So maybe that one will be more of a 5-star. I haven't had a 5-star in ages, it feels like. everything's just been average so far. And this is just another average book for me. So, unfortunately, my first foray into Megan Miranda wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't terrible. Hopefully the next one I pick up from her will be a little bit better. At least I'm hoping. So that's all I have for All the Missing Girls. And then the last book I read, and then the first week of July, was Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This was a highly anticipated book for me. And I recently found out the third book, Fearless, will be out next year. And I am ecstatic to see what's going to happen in the last book. Unfortunately, I was so hyped for this. I had so many expectations going into it. And it wasn't great. Like, I loved Powerless and I loved Powerful. This one kind of let me down a little bit. I wasn't loving it. It took me a few days to get through it. And this is a short book. Normally I could read this in like a day or a day and a half if I really wanted to. This took me more than a couple of days. It took me a few to get through because it dragged a little bit for me and I kept wanting to put it down, which is sad because Powerless, I could not put down. Powerful, I could not put down. This one, I put down several times, which is sad because the beginning was really good and then it just felt lackadaisical in the middle. And unfortunately, in the middle to the end, it kind of dropped off for me. I just felt like she didn't, what's her name again? Peyton. I didn't feel like she put up enough of a fight. I felt like she could have fought a lot harder in this book. And she gave in to a lot of things. And this is not a spoiler. I try not to spoil anything. I just felt like she gave up so easily. And the banter in the beginning was great. And there was some good moments in this book. It's just, I didn't love it. I was so sad. I so badly wanted to love this one. And it's another average book, which is sad. However, the ending, I kind of expected a little bit. I knew there was a reason why Kit's point of view was thrown in here. And now, after reading the ending, I could see why his point of view was in this book. I kind of expected it to happen because of how many times he plays a factor in the book and why Kai is trying to bring Peyton back to his brother. And it just felt kind of predictable for me. And it kind of felt, the beginning was great and then it just fell flat afterwards, unfortunately. Please don't hate me in the comments. I know a lot of people love this book, even since it's been out for a little bit now. And a lot of people are loving it. Unfortunately, it just didn't hit right for me. However, I really want to read the next book, Fearless, that comes out next year, because I'm hoping that book's going to have more moments and hopefully better plot points and better banter and all the things, because I kind of feel like I know where the series might be going, potentially. I don't know how it's going to end in the end, but I have some feelings on where it could be going. But I won't know until we get the third book next year. So this, unfortunately, landed me at another 3 stars. So the first 3 books in July have all been 3 stars. Which is kind of sad. But that's all the books that I've read in the first week of July. And this is all I've got so far. I will come back next week with another video detailing what this week ends up being like. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, I could find a 5-star in here somewhere. Because all 3 of these have a 3 stars. I need some 5 stars, people. So hopefully very soon I will have some more books that are higher up there in ratings. So that's all I got for you guys for this one. If you liked this video, please give me a huge thumbs up. If you want to see more bookish content from me, make sure you smash the subscribe button down below. I'll see you all next time.